Planet Dolan.
From trying to cast a love spell on a crush to staying up all night to watch people sleep, the Planet Dolan crew reenacts some of the best true stories from our subreddit about the creepiest things we've ever done without getting caught. I'm Melissa, and today I'll be your narrator. Number 10 was submitted by the official Yuri. Hellbent used to have a creepy teddy bear mask that had its skin falling off. He would put it on, grab a big knife, and walk around the house with all the lights off. It would be just after midnight when everyone was asleep. While wandering around the house, Hellbent would make muffled growling sounds and say weird, creepy things like,
"Oh, I'll find you sooner or later.
Or,
This is your prison now.
or,
The suffering only gets worse."
He would always make sure to do it whenever his 7-year-old niece was over because he liked scaring her. Whenever she was over, Hellbent would do even more, such as scratch the walls with his knife, but not enough to leave marks. Then, he would slowly open the door to where his niece was and whisper,
"Turn off the light. You know we can't play if the lights are on."
Then he would yell,
"Turn them off!"
That was when his niece would hide. Despite yelling and making the noises, Hellbent was never caught. Number 9 was submitted by Your Adopted LOL. Back to when Gergak was a kid, there was a girl in his class that he really liked, and they would talk all the time. It also turned out that they took the same bus home from school every day. On the ride home, while his crush was asleep, Gergak would stick his fingers under the seat in an attempt to feel her ass. Looking back on it, he's grateful that he never got caught for doing something so creepy. Number 8 was submitted by Lily Gaming. Ramona used to be very interested in magic, so she got a love spell book as a gift from one of her friends. One night, that same friend stayed over. They decided to perform love spells carefully not to get caught by Ramona's helicopter parents. One spell had Ramona carving the name of her crush into a candle, but the spell didn't work because she later learned that his name was spelled wrong. For another spell, she had to sneak downstairs and get a gold plate from the cabinet. Let's just say that, after using it, Ramona had to clean it off and put it back without being noticed. Number 7 was submitted by the second best. When she was a kid, Mimi would always get up before everyone else. Instead of going into the living room and watching TV or something, she would sneak into her bed with her parents. After laying next to them for a little bit, she would move to her brother's room and do the same. One morning, her brother woke up early, so she hid in the bathroom. She watched him take a piss from behind the shower curtain, which she now thinks was just as creepy. Out of all the mornings Mimi did that to her family, she was never caught. Number 6 was submitted by Ethan Andrews 432. Soup was 16 when he had the creepy habit of breaking into other people's houses while wearing a cracked porcelain mask and a white, torn t-shirt with red food coloring on it. He would also carry a large steak knife. Soup would stand next to the bedroom doors of the kids' rooms and just stare. He would also stare at them from the windows if they happened to look outside. Sometimes he would even leave marks on the walls with a steak knife and, using red food coloring, also leave bloody handprints. But Soup was never caught because he always wore that porcelain mask. His neighbors soon began to call his alter ego the Phantom Slasher. Number 5 was submitted by Mystic Tulip. Charky's aunt is a God-fearing individual. She not only fears Satan, but also the number 666. There was one time when his aunt planned on taking down an old barn that she no longer used. To have a little bit of fun with her, Charky bought some red paint and added a little black to the mixture. He went into the barn and began painting 666, satanic symbols, and upside-down crosses all over. In the hopes that his aunt would understand that it was only a prank, Charky also painted a Slender Man symbol on the wall. When the time came, his aunt and uncle went into the barn and saw Charky's masterpiece. His uncle didn't react at all, but his aunt freaked out. She cried and screamed, thinking that there were a bunch of people using her barn to worship Satan. The barn was eventually torn down, and Charky never told his aunt that he was the one who painted all those symbols on the walls. Number 4 was submitted by Brutally Honest 20. When Sid was 18, the creepiest thing he ever did without getting caught was stick his hand down his swim trunks while in his high school swimming pool. He would do that while watching the girls in their bikinis. To this day, he still doesn't know how he managed to get away with it. He thinks that it was probably because he always did it in a corner of the swimming pool. Also, nobody ever swam near him. He never did anything beyond sticking his hand down his trunks whenever he saw half-naked girls. It was just a habit of his ever since he was little. Even though he never did it for the sexual thrill of it, Sid still feels bad about it because it's something that could appear or sound creepy to everyone else. Number 3 was submitted by 5polecat7080. Paprika does a lot of creepy things when nobody is around. The creepiest thing she ever did was when she was only a kid and would be home alone. She would grab a knife and start acting as though she was playing the violin with it. Then she would imagine that either her family, robbers, or sometimes even innocent people were wandering around inside the house. She imagined that, once she found them, she would kill them in brutal ways, like slitting their throats, mutilating them, throwing knives at their heads, breaking their necks, or stabbing them hundreds of times. Paprika is grateful that she was never caught playing pretend like that. Number 2 was submitted by Gamer O Angel. When Ghost Toast was in elementary school, he had terrible insomnia. Between the hours of 11 p.m. and 4 a.m., he would sneak into the kitchen and grab a snack. After eating, he would sneak into his parents' room, which was right down the hall from the kitchen. Ghost Toast would then sit in the doorframe and creepily watch them as they slept. He doesn't know why he even did that. It stopped when he started 6th grade. Huge thanks for the folks over on our Planet Dolan subreddit for submitting their stories. We have another question for you. What was your most heroic act? Let us know in the Reddit page linked below, and you might be featured in a future countdown. Catch you guys next time!